And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves where they will finish for the season in fourth place in the Central Division. The Preds have skated in 81 games this season, which means the preview coming up is the final preview of the regular season. The Preds have a record of 47, 29, and 5, 99 points on the season. Just to show you where they are in a bubble all alone, they're 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche, and they are 10 points ahead of the St. Louis Blues. So the Nashville Predators will finish in fourth place in the Central Division. Just recently wrapping up the home portion of the schedule with a record of 23, 16, and 2 on the road, which is where the last game of the regular season will take place. They have a record of 24, 13, and 3. The Preds have scored 267 goals this season. They've given up 244 against. That's a goal differential of plus 23. The most recent updated standings on the Central Division have seen the Dallas Stars clinch the Central Division title. They have the little Y next to their name now. They have one game remaining in the regular season, a record of 51, 21, and 9. 111 points has them 5 points clear of the second place Winnipeg Jets. And then the Colorado Avalanche are in third place with 104 points. So the Dallas Stars will await the second wild card winner, while the Nashville Predators will await one of the other division winners, the Pacific Division winner. So the Nashville Predators find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division at 99 points. The St. Louis Blues are at 89 points. The Minnesota Wild will finish the season in sixth place. They currently have 83 points. The Arizona Coyotes will finish in seventh. They have 75 points right now with 2 games to go in the year. And the Blackhawks still have 3 games remaining, but they will finish in last place, and currently they have 51 points. Now, the wild card race, which still has some minimum intrigue, some minimal drama to it. The Nashville Predators are the number one wild card team with 99 points, 1 game remaining, which means they could top out at 101 points this season. The Vegas Golden Knights are in the second wild card spot with 94 points, 5 points behind the Nashville Predators, 3 games remaining, which means if the Nashville Predators do not gain another point and the Vegas Golden Knights win all 3 of their remaining games, they would surpass the Predators for the number one wild card spot. That is unlikely, but it is a possibility. For the Preds, what's up in the week ahead? We'll get the schedule coming up here as soon as the regular season wraps up, but the Predators will face the Pacific Division winner, and that is seemingly going to be the Vancouver Canucks, who are currently 5 points ahead of the Edmonton Oilers. The Vancouver Canucks defeating the Edmonton Oilers head-to-head on Saturday night took much of the intrigue out of that. I believe it's 85% certainty that the Predators will face the Vancouver Canucks in the first round, so we will start talking about that, and we'll bring those particular episodes from earlier in the season back and definitely talk about. So that's what's the week ahead for the Nashville Predators after this game in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Now the Nashville Predators regular season series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is the second of 2 regular season meetings. They met the first time back on November the 28th at Bridgestone Arena. Preds scored the 3-2 victory in overtime. Saros got the win, 29-31. McCarron got 2 goals. Forsberg got the goal and an assist for 2 points, and that goal was the game-winning goal in the game. Tristan Jarry, 22-25, took the loss. Malkin and Rust scored the goals for Pittsburgh. Now, when it comes to that Penguins team, Penguins have a lot on the line and a lot still to fight for. Overall, their record, 37, 31, and 12. They have 86 points. They are 6th in the Metropolitan Division, 22, 14, and 4 on home ice, 247 goals for, 244 goals against, the goal differential of +3. What's the most intriguing part of the Pittsburgh Penguins season remaining is that they're in 6th place, but they are still alive for a wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Wild card in the East goes as follows. Tampa Bay is in the number 1 slot with 96 points. They are clear, and they have that spot solidified. The Washington Capitals currently hold the number 2 wild card spot with 87 points, but Detroit also has 87 points. Philadelphia also has 87 points, and Pittsburgh has 86 points. 2 games remain for the Capitals, 2 games remain for Washington, 1 for Philly, and 2 for Pittsburgh. So the Predators will be the next to last game of the season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Penguins, again, still have a lot to play for going into this game on Monday night. Their most recent stretch of action, let's talk about their last 5 games. On the 4th of April, a 4-1 win at the Washington Capitals. On the 6th of April, a 5-4 win versus Tampa Bay. On the 8th of April, a 3-2 overtime loss at the Toronto Maple Leafs. On the 11th of April, a 6-5 overtime win versus Detroit. And most recently, on the 13th, a 6-4 loss versus the Boston Bruins. When it comes to the rankings between these two teams, when it comes to the goals for category, the Nashville Predators sit at 3.26 on the season. That's 11th best overall in the NHL. And the Pittsburgh Penguins sit at 3.06. That's 18th best in the NHL. In the goals against category, 3.01 per game for Nashville is 13th overall in the NHL, and the goals against category for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 3.01, is 14th best in the NHL. Shots on goal. The Predators have just blown up in this category in the last 2 weeks, up to 32.2 shots on goal per game. That is 8th best overall in the NHL, and the Nashville Predators only top 10 statistical metric. 32.5 shots on goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins is actually one spot better than the Predators at 7th overall, so we should expect some incredibly high shot volume, and then the game will end up being 20-18 in shots on goal. Please don't let it be 20-18 shots on goal. That would not be a high event hockey or entertaining type of event game. In the shots against category, these two teams again are very similar at 19th and 20th. 30.5 shots against per game is 20th in the NHL for the Nashville Predators, and the Pittsburgh Penguins 30.2 is 19th. On the special teams unit, quite surprised to see that the Pittsburgh Penguins have struggled this mightily on the power play, only converting at 14.5% of the season to 31st overall in the NHL. 27 conversions out of 256 opportunities. The Preds converting at 21.6%. That's 15th best in the league. 58 conversions on 268 opportunities. On the penalty kill, the Pittsburgh Penguins, though, are quite far ahead of the Nashville Predators in this particular metric. 9th best kill rate in the league at 81.2%. They've given up just 45 power play goals against on the entire season. The Preds' PK rate is 77%. They're ranked 22nd in the league. They have given up 56 power play goals against on the season. Now listen, the names that you're about to hear for the Pittsburgh Penguins are not surprising whatsoever. They have been the names that have been near the top of the list over there on this team for quite some time. So let's run down the top 5 scorers for each of these teams. Let's talk about Sidney Crosby, leading the Pittsburgh Penguins, 41 goals, 49 assists, 90 total points. Another big season for Sidney Crosby. Malkin, 25 goals and 39 assists for 64 points. Typically plays quite well against the Nashville Predators, except for against Luke Evangelista, maybe directly. Rust, 28 goals, 27 assists, 55 points. Carlson's at 10 and 43 for 53, and Gensel's at 22 goals and 30 assists for 52 points. Over on the other side of the ledger, the visiting team, the Nashville Predators, coming into their final game of the regular season, Philip Forsberg is actually ahead of Sidney Crosby in total points. Sidney Crosby at 90 points on the season. Philip Forsberg at 93 on the season. 47 of those are goals, 46 of those are assists. So Philip Forsberg has also had a remarkably balanced season, and to think it wasn't that long ago that he had dipped below a point per game on the season and then just took off after that, seizing the all-time franchise goals record, now up to 47. And while 50 seems unlikely, having just had a hat trick the other night, nothing's impossible when it comes to Philip Forsberg. Roman Josi second on the team in scoring, 23 goals, 62 assists, 85 total points. An incredible season for the captain of the Nashville Predators. Nyquist is at 22 goals, 52 assists, 74 points, and was one of the best free agent signings of this entire season. Across the league, there's no doubt about it. The stats prove that out at 74 points. O'Reilly is also in that listing at 26 goals, 42 assists for 68 points. Tommy Novak, fifth on the team in scoring, 18 goals with 27 assists to add to that for 45 total points. In net, Tristan Jarry, who took the loss to the Nashville Predators the previous time, 19-25-5, a 903 save percentage of 2.91 goals against average, 6 shutouts on the season. That is a very, very high number, so watch out for that. UC Saros, 35-23-5 on the season, a 906 save percentage, 2.84 goals against average with 3 shutouts on the season. So very comparable numbers when it comes to save percentage and goals against on those two netminders. And it would be a rematch of the game that took place on November the 28th at Bridgestone Arena, where UC Saros got the victory, but not until the overtime session. Philip Forsberg did score against this Pittsburgh Penguins team, so it's not unlikely that he'll find a way to get on the score sheet in this one. And remember, with 93 points, he is not only 3 goals from 50, but 3 points from tying the franchise record. That is also something that Philip Forsberg seems to be chasing and cognizant of, so we will talk more about that. All right, that's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators' final regular season game of the season. The Pittsburgh Penguins have a whole lot more to play for in this game than the Nashville Predators do, so the Preds just need to be cautious and make sure everybody comes out of this game good and healthy, because they're heading on over to Pittsburgh. Luzon's going to go for the hits record, and I expect the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be highly competitive and ready to go and very aggressive. They got to have those 2 points leading into their final game of the regular season if they want any hope of displacing the teams ahead of them, and there are a couple in the wild card race. That's going to do it for the preview session. Let's go back and talk about the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Let's talk about the Preds' most recent game against Columbus Blue Jackets. Closed out the regular season home schedule schedule. Let's go back and hear from it now after this break right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.